All right, so we are rolling. So just give me a thumbs up that you guys are okay talking. Beautiful. Great. So I see that you guys have like some biohazard stuff up, and are you guys like a garage or like a
It's a
workshop?
joke song. Yeah, we're in a shop.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what are your what? So you guys are from Texas. What are your thoughts of what's going on in the country? What are some things that you want to talk about? Share some of your opinions on.
I think Joe Biden's retarded.
Could you kind of explain a little more?
Yeah, a little emphasize on that one.
I can emphasize. Well, he's racist. I could prove that because he said white kids are as good as black poor kids. Well, actually, it was all something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see. So you're saying that when he says white kids and are more privileged than are the same as poor kids, you're saying that he's equating poor and black.
Yep.
Cool. What are your
He's
thoughts
also
of what are your thoughts of like I don't know like of I guess the his opponent, right, Trump. What are your thoughts of him?
well, he ain't bad. It's pretty cool. I mean, he stopped the poverty rate of black people like 20% or something like that.
Could you say that again?
Say it again.
He increased. I mean, deducted the black poverty rate.
Interesting. Cool.
Uh,
By 20%, you said, right, or so.
Something like that.
yeah. I think that either Biden or Trump, they both have their, their backstories. They've done some stuff in the past which have not been so great for the media or the news, and you know how the news twists it sometimes and all that stuff. It I would say that Biden really messed up on the what no, my friend said, and also the 1.9 trillion dollar
Stimulus check.
yeah, all that stuff going out. That's a very big deal. You got to be prepared for that. That's a lot of money. And now Trump has done some stuff in the past that I haven't liked, but overall he's a really good, you know, former president. And
Hopefully,
kind of sucks that he wasn't, but you know that's life. You got to deal with it. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah,
There's some people that run in the liberal circles that I'm around that talk about and are worried about a civil war with the Proud Boys and concern. Like I think a lot of people conflate Proud Boys with all conservatives. That's not the same thing. What are your guys' thoughts of the possibility or potential of civil unrest?
you can do it.
I didn't hear him.
Oh, you
What's
didn't
that?
hear me? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm saying that a lot of people that I've been hanging out with in my liberal circles are worried about civil unrest, like a civil war between conservatives, Proud Boys, and liberals. What are your thoughts, and what do you think is the potential for a civil war in our lifetime?
Well, if there's a civil war, I'm pretty sure the government might step in and stop it.
Is that something that you guys ever think about, like a civil war happening?
I would say that after all the stuff that's happened in the history of the government and civil war and all that stuff dates back years, and I think if that were to kind of repeat itself, it would kind of almost be the same ordeal. But now as technology grows, because we've got all this stuff, I would say that it's going to be a little bit different, if not dramatically different, if that ever happens. But
Hmm.
I would say that if it happens, um, you know, it's just going to be different. That's all I'm going to say. It's just going
Interesting.
to be different.
Yeah. What do you guys think are so like a lot of people think that at least I think that like a lot of the things that are happening with the government are kind of just symptoms of a deeper root issue of what's kind of corrupting our country and where do you guys think corruption stems from? Like what do you think is the root issue that we really need to kind of fix to solve a lot of the issues? Did you guys catch that?
Yeah, I heard you.
Mhm.
Well,
Really?
I forgot what he said.
What
Yeah,
would be like the stem of
Oh, okay.
yeah,
the yeah?
the root issue that is kind of like leading to all of this, the corrupt politicians, the
I got two words:
um
money.
what is it?
That's money and power.
How do you think that we can figure out, like, if you were president, if you were in power, like, what is something that you would try to do to try to improve the situation or circumstance that we're in?
If I was president, I'd uh, probably just like with the BLM protest. I'd say it's kind of a terrorist group. I feel like because they're taking down government official stuff and businesses and calling it peaceful protest.
And who's doing that? Could you?
BLM.
Oh, Black
Black,
Lives Matter.
yes.
Okay. So you're
Uh,
saying that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization? You're saying?
Well, it sound. Yeah, I wouldn't say it. It would, at first glance, it wouldn't sound like it would, but it's. But when you see what they're doing, it does seem like one.
uh,
Okay.
the were you gonna say something there?
Well, I was just gonna ask if you could kind of go into what like why you think they are a terrorist organization.
If you want to, you can. If you want to go in depth on that.
Well, I don't feel like going into depth with it, but I can.
Whatever you think would help explain your point more thoroughly.
Well, since George Floyd died, and they're trying to reconvict Derek Chauvin, but I think that's illegal because there's no double standard. It's one of the amendments.
This is to take people's to the. Are you saying the Second Amendment?
I forgot what amendment it is, but there is an amendment where you can't convict a person twice.
Oh, okay.
Now the if I could do my standpoint
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, would love to hear your thoughts.
So the BLM, the Black Lives Matter movement, right? Uh, it I think is, I mean, of course, George Floyd, that was bad deal. I mean, the timing on that was just horrible. I'm pretty sure COVID had just happened whenever that happened, so it's been going on for a year or whatever. And I think that's just, that worst time for that to happen. But then again, you can have BLM and it still be a powerful, very powerful organization for all these people. And but I do not agree with the burning down the buildings and all these non-peaceful protests, I guess you could say.
They're going into the graveyards and desecrating a military graveyard, and
Yeah,
they they also did that to Abraham Lincoln, a statue of him.
I would say that the not to accuse anybody because you can have your own opinions. Don't get me wrong, because I agree and disagree with the BLM. I think just I'm not going to get into that. But here's the thing: um, the the moment that happened, I mean, people were ready, so they were like expecting it, kind of. And I don't know if that was, I don't want to say that that's exactly when the troubles for the US and the government and all that stuff happened, but right when that happened, a lot of stuff happened with the government and the US, like again the trading agreements with China and all that stuff that I don't know what Trump did with his 4 years or whatever of service as president. But besides the point, Biden, I think, is agreeing with China and their allies like Korea and so on and so forth. Um, and that we're feeding them money and they're building up a government. They're building up a military. I mean, and I just think that's bad because we're building up an ally at the moment because they're an ally right now, kind of in a way. like through a system or something, they're an ally. But if you build up the ally too much, the ally has more power than you do yourself. So, for instance, the military over in China would be much far, far bigger than the U.S. military. So that's kind of a problem right now. Now, is that the main problem? I don't know. Also, with COVID-19 and all this money being transferred, it's just a big deal, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Would I be able to kind of like reflect on some of the things that you guys are saying? And yeah, I'm. First of all, I just want to thank you guys for being so
Yeah,
uh, open and honest about your opinions. I rarely find people who are this straightforward about things, and I appreciate that. Um,
Oh, you're welcome.
no problem.
yeah. So these are my questions or my thoughts and questions. Is at least in terms of like the matter movement and the counter movement of all lives matter, right? Um,
I think
and you
that's,
you you also look at like other movements like Antifa and the Proud Boys, right? And there are I think that both sides have violent people in them, and there are I think like the people like there are radical Proud Boys who got who there were just few in number. They kind of got a group of people together who were at the Trump rally on January 6th and stormed the Capitol. I think that that was just orchestrated by a few small people who kind of rallied very enthusiastic Trump supporters into the Capitol without them really planning it, like without the large group planning it. I think there were a few instrumental people who orchestrated that and executed it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I don't know if we should really define the Black Lives Matter movement or All Lives Matter movement by the people who are violent, by the people who are radicals, who are hurting people, who are desecrating graves, right? Like, I mean, you could
Yes.
say that the Proud Boys shouldn't, like they shouldn't exist because they stormed the Capitol, but you should but that's such a small group of people. Like there are just a small group of people in the Black Lives Matter movement that are doing these awful things, maybe. And so I wonder, like, one of the things about is figuring out equality, right? Figuring out how we can champion equal rights. For you guys, I'm wondering who is a champion, who do you believe is a champion for equal rights in this country? Who is like the figurehead that you really support in bringing people together from all aspects of society?
well, usually it used to be Rush Limbaugh. He's usually a political talk radio host. He usually tells everyone.
See, what I guess my question, another question I have for you guys is, talk to any black people about their opinions on this matter, and what do you think? What have they said their opinions are on champions of equal rights? If you guys this with any of your black friends.
I mean, some of them don't really like Black Lives Matter because they see what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're trying to brainwash.
Well,
Make them do
yeah,
stuff
I guess what I'm saying is not all black people belong to Black Lives Matter though, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely for
Right.
sure. Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
yeah. So, like, have you guys talked to, like, I guess this is a question: is do you guys have are you guys around many black people in your daily life? Is that
Yeah,
Yes, at school. Yes, yes, for sure.
Have you guys ever talked to any of them about this stuff at all?
they don't care about it. They don't like it.
Um,
Interesting.
s- some of them. I talked to one of my friends, um, who is black. Yeah. And he was. I asked him. right? And I was like, no offense, but what is your point on BLM, Black Lives
Yeah,
Matter,
yeah.
and all that
Asking him his
stuff?
opinion.
And
Yeah,
he said, well, what you said, there's some people that are more violent than others. I mean, there's so much stuff in just one, like BLM, like a community or whatever. So much stuff in there that you can't really find the bad spots, but you can at the same time. Like, for instance, one community up in Atlanta would be terrible. I mean, they're bad. They burn down places and all that stuff. But if you go to a BLM community in California, let's say, and they're very peaceful protesters and all that stuff, and there's not enough, I guess. I don't know how you would say this, but there's not enough, I guess, time or justice in figuring out these, like splitting them apart, and would just without having other. I mean, this is what happens, right? You have one community, right? And then right when that community starts and it gets very big, like BLM did, you have another one like All Lives Matter, ALM, that starts, and then the Proud Boys and all that stuff. All that stuff started just because of one, and now you have all these separate um,
right.
movements
Organization.
or
Yeah,
communities. Yeah, and it's just really confusing point. But yeah,
it is confusing. There's a lot that's going on, and I appreciate your yeah, you talking about it. Now, could for the guy who was just talking, could you talk a little bit about you think who you think is like a champion for equal rights in our country? Who
um,
you would look up to, maybe, or take you a lead from?
um, like who I look up to, like as like a
Political leader.
kind of like a corny way of saying it, like a hero of mine, kind of like that,
Yeah,
almost.
yeah. Well, yeah, you could. Yeah, I guess. Yes.
Um, I would say, hold on. I guess the main, I forget his name, but he's always on the news and television, like CNN 10 and all that stuff. He's the main guy, like the doctor for like COVID, and he's explaining all this stuff. Like if we start in April, if everybody goes and does their part, then we'll be out of this by like June or whatever. That's one of them because he the way he says it, it's just so equal, and it's just like you can take it one way or another. And I kind of like that because he's not directing it one way. Like let's say just out of nowhere, CNN 10 is mainly for Biden. Like they're biased. There you go. The word bias. Yeah.
So it's Fox News.
Yeah. And I would say that the guy that talks about the COVID-19 and we'll be out of this by June or whatever, he's not biased like at all. He's like, if you want to do, like, if you need and want to do this, and we need to do it, but it's probably not going to happen if we could do this and get out of it. And that's one person. Yeah, I would say.
Cool. Cool. I would also like to, before I forget, because my memory's pretty bad. Want to just bring up too, like in the Trump administration, one thing that I was really against Trump on was his tax cut, which was a tax cut that went mainly to people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, who already have billions of dollars. And it has been shown through studies that the tax cut has gone to the wealthy and not to people like you or me who are, you know, wanting some more money.
Yeah,
Like,
average, basically. Yeah, average.
yeah, poor. I mean, I'm poor,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so my question to you guys is like, what do you guys think is like, what do you guys think is the best kind of taxing system for people? I do think that the stimulus bill by the direct payments giving you, me, $1,400, putting it in our pockets, that's gonna help a lot of families. And though it may raise inflation a little bit, Like I think that would be really helpful for us. And I would just love to hear your opinions of why you guys won't really be as supportive of the $1,400.
I mean, I don't mind.
Yeah, of course we wouldn't.
So we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, yeah. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Anybody wouldn't mind, $1,400 like that. I mean, I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. But here's the thing. If each person is getting that, that's gonna be. I mean, you get. I don't know how to put it, man, but if you get, I don't know. I really don't know. But the 1.9 trillion dollar stimulus check thing, that is, it's a bad deal, but it's going the right way. If you can, it's like putting a square peg in a circle hole. It kind of won't work, but you can kind of make it work. But it's going to cause, I guess, inflation, like you said, and all that stuff with the government and money like that. I
Well,
really don't.
yeah. I mean, if I were you guys, I would check out. I wish I had the study on me, but I would look it up a little more and because I think there's this impression that we get that like the stimulus is going to be bad for the debt. But the thing is that if you look at the debt of other countries in the world, like percent of GDP. I know I'm kind of rambling on, and I'll be quiet after this, and we'll want to hear from you guys more. But I think that like our debt really isn't that bad compared to other countries that are still functioning in the world, like Japan. Their debt, their percentage of debt to GDP is over 200%. Ours is just slightly over 100%, which isn't good. I'm not saying that's good, but like we need like people like you and me. We need money to function, and there are hundreds of millions of people in this country, at least tens of millions of people that desperately need this. And if they have no money, they're gonna be homeless, and then worse things are gonna start happening. You know what I mean? Like we need to keep people, you and me and our families afloat if we're gonna get out of this awful fucking situation. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I'm gonna shut up and I would love to hear what you guys think.
Well, when Biden was before he was during his election, he said he had a plan for the COVID, but after when he got elected, he said he didn't. He had no idea what to do.
I mean, like it's pretty good that the like 2.2 million people are getting vaccinated a day here, which is pretty good. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
maybe he said that, and but like at least the results, the actions are speaking louder than the words in that situation. That's my opinion.
yeah. Besides the stimulus check package,
Yeah.
the whole vaccination bill, it's come a long way, per se. I mean, the amount of money that's going into vaccinations, I mean, you gotta respect it. I mean, he's really actually Biden trying to get these vaccinations out and all that stuff. I may not agree every single day with Biden, but you have to respect that. I mean, as a president,
They
um,
have to. It's true.
but the stimulus, I mean, again, it's going to be really helpful. I mean, it's like it's just going to impact so many families
No, I don't
that.
mean to. Yeah, I don't mean for you guys to like have to also agree with my points. Like I didn't mean to do that. I guess I'm also just saying this too because a lot of the audience members that I have like haven't really heard me talk to anyone about this, and so I'm really glad that you guys kind of like put yourselves out there to talk about it. Like that's I appreciate that. That's and so let's just briefly and like get rid of like talking about this stuff because this is so stressful and boring to some people. But I guess
What's your opinion?
like for the people watching, like what do you think are some things that people don't know about Texas that they should know?
If you look at just overall Texas,
Hate Oklahoma.
well,
Dude, I just talked to someone from Oklahoma the other day. They're gonna love that.
if you look at it, the what was I getting to? If you look at Texas overall and you live in, let's say, Carolina, and you're looking at it, and you're like, oh, these guys believe in Trump, they're racist, so. That's just a bunch of stuff that has happened. I mean, Texans get accused for automatically. Like if you meet a Texan one day and you're from North Carolina or anywhere in the U.S. and you've heard about Trump being racist and all that stuff, you immediately Texans are racist. They're just racist. They don't care about the black community and all that. And I hate. I love to say it, but that's wrong. That's just wrong. That's not. It's like saying North Carolina's all liberal. They're just all liberal. They're like no Republicans or anything up
That's
there.
California.
Yeah, whatever. But still, and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's we get battered pretty hard, but I'm not gonna say that we get absolutely.
That's okay. You can say it. Shit on, right? Is that what you're gonna say?
Shit.
That's okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that we get thrown around a lot because Texans are tough. That's a good opinion. That's a very true opinion. But that's really that's just the perspective of Texas. I mean we're just
Hardy. Yeah, you guys are hardy.
yeah. Which sucks, but I mean if you get one person that you meet that's bad, then it changes the whole thing for you.
Yeah, that is so big. Like that's such a big thing, right? Like you meet a person and then that one person stands out. It could end up being a representation of all Texans, and that's just not how it is. It's so
Yeah.
more complicated than that.
Yeah.
So stereotyping anyone, stereotyping one Texan being a representative of all Texans or one black person being a representative of Black Lives Matter movement. It's just not. Yeah, you have to look more specifically, more in a more nuanced way.
More in depth than
It wouldn't be stereotypical if everyone did it.
What is that?
It wouldn't be stereotypical if everyone did it.
No. Well, guys, thank you for. Are there any?
no problem, man. No problem.
Yeah, dude. Are there any other kind of like last thoughts that you'd like to share before we go? Maybe words of advice or anything to the audience out there?
Don't mess with Texas.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What is that?
Don't mess with Texas.
I mean, this whole conversation has nothing to do with it, but I heard a quote from what's that? He's have you ever seen the movie Two Guns or
Top Gun?
Top Gun?
Not Top Gun, but it's Two Guns. It's not. It's with I can't think of the actor's name, but the actor is
Tom Hanks.
No, he's a.
Two Guns. I don't think I've ever heard this movie before.
Huh. Well, anyways, he was saying a quote, and he just won a Oscar and a nominee or whatever, and he was saying it, and he said, "Fall down 7 times, get up 8." And that I think that would help a lot of people. I mean, it helps me. So imagine what it could do if other people heard it. But it's a big quote, so I'm not too sure if nobody's heard it.
Yeah. Well, could I would love to ask you, like, when could you kind of explain the story that made you think of that quote? Like, what were the things that you fell down? Like, what were the things that made you fall down? How did you stand up? If you'd like to share.
I would say some of my I guess school, perhaps you could take it as a Like if you're in school or college, let's say college, and you like fail a test and you keep on failing it, but then that you still have the same motivation from that, like get fall down, but you got to get up. Every time you fall down, you get back up and you learn more and more as you go. And that by the final test come, you'll have a good percentage or you'll pass it, you know? And that's probably a good, I guess, way to say it.
Hmm. So did you have kind of trouble in school, but you kept moving through it?
Yeah, kind of. My grades weren't as good, and then I kind of actually paid attention, I guess you could say. So, yeah.
Dude, cool. It's awesome to hear that you won. You kind of emerged from it and took the bull by the horns and succeeded with that.
Yeah.
It's hard. That's hard.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that, and thank you, other guy with the hat, for
Uh,
talking to.
they're both
Uh,
wearing.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, there you go. The other guy is staying hidden, which is absolutely fine. so,
I mean,
um,
I don't care.
so I'm gonna be posting this video right now to my channel, and yeah, so you guys will see it pop up in a few minutes. Okay.
all right.
Now make sure to subscribe. Thanks so much.
All right. Have a good week.
See you guys later. Bye.
Already subscribed.
You rock. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Huh. That was somewhat difficult for me. How do we have a conversation about racism when some people think that Rush Limbaugh is a pinnacle of justice or is a hero? I wonder to what extent kind of just talking about those facts with the stimulus bill and putting that in perspective with them, how that helped. Those were the first guys who really explicitly talked about how they think Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. I mean, that was interesting, difficult, right? Because you want to connect with people on a human level, but also want to confront fact and put out their opinion because they're, you know what, like that may be the first time that they actually have heard and listened to an argument by someone who's actually interested in economics, and progressive politics. They may just be completely isolated from that, you know, in an insular, segregated area where liberal progressive thought just is never discussed. What a gift, you know, and also what a gift for us to listen to them and their opinions, because that is a large segment of society. You guys, if you're listening, you guys are not alone. There are millions, tens of millions, possibly hundreds of millions of people that agree with you. But these guys are not violent people. You know, I think they're learning and they have thoughts just as, yeah. I mean, we're all brainwashed in some way. This journey is just trying to figure out how I'm brainwashed, presenting thoughts and opinions and seeing what they have to offer. I do not agree that Rush Limbaugh. I don't think that Rush Limbaugh is a champion of equal rights. I think someone like Judith Butler is. Check out Judith Butler. And also for people, oh, I don't think I can write. If you guys are interested in economics at all, check out check out Jeffrey Sachs's The Price of Civilization. That's a great book to kind of start with, looking I mean, this was written about 10 years ago during the Obama administration, so it's a little dated already. I mean, these things move fast, pre-Trump, but kind of gets at what we really need to do to be able to progress and become stronger as a country and society and as an economy. So, okay, guys, thank you. I was not expecting that tonight.